Starbucks is interesting. How many of you people here have ever been to a Starbucks before? So you know the environment inside of a Starbucks. You have, first of all, for getting work done, they have Wi-Fi, which is great. But as you move on, the tables are small, okay? They don't have plugs where you can plug into your computer a lot of the time. Nowadays, because Starbucks is losing out a lot of money because people are camping out, they're trying to get people to go quickly. This makes it kind of difficult. If you're having a meeting at Starbucks, it's tough too. Because when you have a meeting at Starbucks, you have a lot of different people walking in and out. You have blenders going off. So if you're trying to close a deal, that's not really the place to go. If you're trying to build a connection with someone, that's not really the place to do it. You want to have somewhere where it's like a little bit quieter, a little bit more intimate. So you think about, I want this a little bit more professional environment, somewhere I can go, so you go to a place like this. This is our competition here. This is a place called Resource Suites. What is this? This is a corporate office suite. So here you have a lot of the amenities of an office and a shared office environment. You have the printer, you have a receptionist, you have all these different things. But you realize that you're still working alone, all right, in this place. I don't know. Something is missing, okay? And people all over the world realize that there is something missing. And that's something, it's co-working. So now, what is co-working? There are a few things that co-working is. This is New York City in New York. Recently, we went up to New York City, the owner of that space, Tony Bacigalupo. He's one of the front runners in this co-working movement. So what co-working is about collaboration. As you see here, we have a team. They're all working, with their Macs. What you don't know is they could either be all part of one team for one company, or they could be in different teams for different companies. So you have collaboration. You have the space itself. Now, when working in a co-working space, you can do things a lot different than the conventional way. And one of the things you can do is you can pay attention to how the space relates to productivity. A company that's very successful and does this is Google. All right? So you think of, if you've seen Google Space, they have a lot of very innovative things. They have areas where you can sleep. They have kind of meeting rooms off to the side. And we can do this with a co-working space. We can decide how to build a space. Also, you have this sense of community. So here in Seoul, Korea, this place called Fort East, you have a lot of young people coming together in a grassroots movement to create a co-work space. And not only is it just a place where people work, but it's also a place where people can come together and they can really have like a family, organization, something like a guild, okay? People helping each other out. Independents banding together. Here's another, this is back at New York City. And as you can see, this is kind of the dynamics of different types of people you might have. Like this guy he might be a web designer, all right? This guy over here, he might have a tech company that he's trying to launch, and he doesn't know how to do it. So these two guys could come together through serendipity, meet, and create a business connection. These two guys here are working on a situation too. So you can really come through, you can see how people can get together, they can focus on their projects, they can learn from other people's projects. Work the way you live the way you work. This is our mantra. And in the 21st century, business and life are coming together for a lot of people. You have different kind of trends that are causing this. One of them is telecommuting. So you don't necessarily have to be at an office to get your work done. So what does this allow? It kind of dissipates the structure. And then you have blocks of time. People have blocks of times, 2 hours here, pick up the kids, 4 hours here, drop them off, go to the bank, do this, do that. So you have this new style of working. And also a lot of the people who are co-working, they do a lot of interesting things too in their free time. They have a lot of hobbies that are a little bit different. So it's this lifestyle of working the way you live and living the way you work. So for us, we're a young team. So these are our people right here. got me. I'm the Chief Executive Officer, Rechung. We have Tony Stanford, Brandon Hayashi is on financials, Jennifer Kuhn is on the Chief Innovation Officer, and we have Dane Kato on branding. So we have a team that's kind of mixed up. We're all young. We're passionate. The passion goes so far, but what we realize is that as a young team, what we really lack is experience. So what we try to do is we're trying to fill the gaps with a board of advisors that together have over 200 years, 300 years of experience. We have a few members who are in the operations, leadership capacities. You have some that are designers. You have some that are into green. We have a woman who has a co-work space in New York on our board of advisors. A lot of different people trying to fill in those gaps. So, as for the market, you wonder how much demand there is for something like a co-work space. And this picture right here illustrates if there are 65,000 independent entrepreneurs in Hawaii, all we need is one out of this many guys in order to make our space profitable. So it's a fairly, in comparison, when you look at the large scheme of things, one guy out of like this 300 guys on this screen here, it's doable. So to define our market a little bit more, this guy is our market. He's not really into working alone. In fact, he likes to co-work. Who is this guy? He's between 25 and 40 years old. All right, he's an independent, so he could be a startup entrepreneur. He could be a graphic designer, some kind of designer, freelancer, or he could be someone who telecommutes. Also, this guy could be from California. He could be from another place. He could be either from the mainland or abroad and coming through Hawaii and wants to have a staycation and work a little bit. So, this kind of shows a trend of how the spaces are moving. So, in Europe, 4 years ago, there were only 20 spaces. Today, there's over 150 spaces. Now, this is not a trend that's just only alone in Europe. In New York as well, it went in 5 years from 6 spaces to 60 spaces. So in Europe, that gives a 750% growth rate. Now, I want to ask everybody in this room, how many industries do you know of with a 750% growth rate? Any? Co-working, that's one. We want to bring it here to Hawaii. There are a lot of reasons to bring it into Hawaii. Personally, for us, it's not only just a business venture, but it's also a social mission. Being able to stay in Hawaii. A lot of people who are our age, they have to leave to go and find work. But if we can create a community of like-minded individuals who are independent and they're willing to move forward together, we could bring something like this to Hawaii. Also, we have the rise of China and United States, and Hawaii is right in between, so it's going to be an interesting place. With Hawaii being a tourist destination, it has some very interesting opportunities that we're looking into right now as far as bringing in people from other places to work here. Building and branding. So these are two main components that we're working on at this time, and they're very essential for what we're doing. The building is building a community of like-minded individuals who are interested in co-working. The branding is making sure that everybody knows what we do is we're a place where people come and who like to live the way they work and work the way they live. So here are a few key numbers. Our startup costs, approximately $100,000, a little bit less than that. Memberships are going to be $300, introductory rate of $150. That's a $5 per day. Day trippers, and hourly. And we have, to make a profit, we need about 65 members. So if we work on this number, by the fourth quarter of the first year, we're going to be profitable. By our break-even will be at 120 members. And that's at third quarter of the second year. And I'd just like to state that these numbers are outdated and we have a new plan, and if you'd like to look into your business plan, it's on page 3 of the appendix. Beyond free Wi-Fi. So, of course, for anybody who lives this kind of lifestyle, one of the things that made it possible for people to work the way they live and live the way they work and be independent is the advent of the internet. You're not chained down to one place in order to get your business done. But the Wi-Fi, the internet, is just one part of what makes co-working special. Yeah, you have a place where you have Wi-Fi, but you have a lot of other things. The main one being the community. And within that community, you have many other ideas, such as the idea of accelerated serendipity. Accelerated serendipity is basic, you know what serendipity is, right? Running into people, right? Kind of bumping in, hey, oh, hey, what a coincidence. What we do is we try to accelerate serendipity by getting like-minded individuals with different talents in different fields and bring them into one place. There's a higher chance of meeting somebody who you can connect with and you can learn from and you can work with so you can make money together. So right now we're working on these 3 hurdles. Right now, funding, we're looking for $100,000 of funding. So far we've secured $20,000 of that, so we still need 80% of our funding money. A location in Kaka'ako, we've also in the process of securing a location in the Ward area. So it's very central, a lot of parking, open 24 hours. And this one right here is interesting. We're slightly ahead of our time, or slightly behind if you want to look at it that way. But the thing is that nobody in Hawaii knows about co-working. A very, very small amount of people. And even on the mainland, it's a very new term. And it's just starting to come into prominence. You know, Inc. magazine had an article about 3 months ago about co-working. You've seen it in the New York Times. You see it in different places. But as far as like the everyday person knowing about co-working, they don't really know about that. So one of our challenges is being able to educate the public. So this is a double-edged sword. While we are the ones who have to go out there and educate the public, at the same time, because we are the ones that are educating the public, co-working will be associated with open source. So, as the great Bob Dylan said, times are changing. The old places and old ways of working are a little bit outdated. You know, your corporate job isn't secure anymore. And people are looking for a better quality of life. Because of these few reasons, co-working is coming to prominence. It's growing at an alarming rate all over the world, from megalopolises like Tokyo, New York, Shanghai, to Des Moines, Iowa. Co-working's flourished, and we intend to bring it here into Hawaii. And this is open source. Thank you very much.